Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Bacon Decker Podcast. This week, we're going to start off with William explaining why we didn't have a podcast last week.
Oh, all right.
Right off the bat.
All right. So, basically, I got a new position, right? You guys are tracking on that I have the driver position.
Yep.
So the last time we talked, I just finished driver school. So, I didn't realize how busy I was going to be.
Didn't realize what a full-time job really.
Yeah, which is very busy. So basically, I'm working I get to work at like 7:30, and I'm not leaving there till like 5:30, 6 o'clock.
I was curious when you first got it. I thought you would be starting early, but then I thought, from a business standpoint, most businesses aren't open until later. So if they're not getting there till 8 or 7, then it does you no good to get to work at 6 and start. So my job, we start early. So when I start an 8-hour shift, I'm starting at 6. So 2:30, I'm able to go home.
Yeah.
So when you told me, like, it was going to be later, and like there's a couple nights we tried to do a filming and a podcast, and he'd be like calling, what was it, like 5:30, 6 o'clock, like, hey man, do you want to do it tonight? I'm really beat. And I'm like, I just got off work those nights too, and I'm like, man, let's shoot for another night. And it turned into both of us just did not have a night. It wasn't just William's fault. It was, and both of us.
It was not coming together. I mean, come hell or high water, it was just not coming together.
Yeah, in which you went out of town the weekend that it should have went up.
Yeah.
And then Gabby had her bachelorette party that night too, so I did the surprise stream of Minecraft Solo Survival Islands that night, just because keep myself busy, and then to keep myself out of trouble, more or less. and to the plan was to have it the same night, but she kind of decided to go ahead and throw hers because they planned to have a pool party for hers, especially with COVID. Yeah, so she had to go ahead and get hers done. Well, with me switching jobs, I don't have any time off right now, so I'm trying to wait until I get at least a set schedule. I still don't have a set schedule at Pepsi. I love my job to death, but it does suck as far as trying to have a week-to-week plan to know when you're going to be able to film something or do anything. Like if I wanted to go out next weekend, I don't know. I would probably be working, but I could be off Saturday. Who knows? So both of us just are not at the state of trying to plan an hour-long sit down, and then we edit it, and then we upload it, and we try to title it and try to get a subject going for each one. So it just didn't work out last week.
I tell you what, all right, I know we have a couple listeners who, or at the very least followers on our social media that are like blue collar podcasts as well. And yeah, I mean, we're hard charging, like just, I know for a fact they know how it is, and, trying to fit it in.
Because we enjoy it. We enjoy it, even if it's just us listening to each other talk and have fun. If we get one viewer that wants to listen, that is great to us. We've talked about that before, but more than anything, this is us catching up with each other too. I mean, how much have we talked this week or the week before, honestly?
Not a whole lot, man.
Because both of us, we have full-time jobs. This is not a job. It's becoming more of a job-like title, but it's still fun trying to get it in there compared to when I wake up and go to work. I have a work day. I'm not enjoying work, but I don't hate work,
Yeah.
So I enjoy the job, but I still want to go home at the end of the day. Whereas when I get here and we film something, it's my day off or a time when we have enough time, it's something I want to do.
Yeah, and it's something that, more than enjoy. It's kind of like, because you enjoy your job, but it's like, we like to do this and have a good time.
Yeah, the YouTube stuff is definitely enjoyment to me. With it growing at the rate it's growing, it's more or less, I also don't want to let anybody down. We're past 160 at this point that I'm trying to make sure I put something out there for you guys to watch, because I feel like it's on me to keep y'all entertained in a way. So it's one of those things. I'm just trying to do my best for y'all, but at the same time keep it enjoyable for me as well. So but other than that, her party was that night, and how'd your trip out of town go? You guys do anything? Or where'd y'all go?
We went and visited Chris's family up in Lexington. So really it was just us hanging out and just spending time with each other. I hadn't seen him in quite a while. She'd been up a little bit more recently than I had, because
I remember there was one weekend you said she was going and you were staying
I
home.
don't even remember why.
I don't either.
I stayed home.
Because it's not like we had anything planned. You stayed home. I want to say it's just because, were you training then for your EMT test and all that?
No, because she would have went up on a weekend.
I don't remember.
We probably were doing something.
I don't remember. Because I honestly don't remember what. I worked the past 2 weekends. I was off Tuesday, Wednesday.
I don't even remember when the last time she went up there was. But yeah, so we just spent time with her family. Went to her church up there, and then that's about it. I mean, that's all we did up there.
I didn't. As far as the new set for Pokemon come out, so I've been trying to keep track of that. All our stores are already sold out or already down to nothing hardly. So it's been turned into I'm struggling to find things because I didn't get to pre-order everything. And there wasn't much to pre-order this time around, like the last set that come out. So I kind of was like up in the air about what I was getting. So I've opened some stuff for it, but it's so the weekend, August 14th is when it come out. So I was trying to keep up with everything of it, but also we're crunched for time for the wedding and honeymoon as well. So I have to be careful where I spend my money because I want us to make sure we have enough fun in Panama City if we get to go. Right now, everything's still pretty much shut down, so I don't want to spend a bunch of money to go to a condo and then just sit in a condo, Yeah. And she's the same way. She's trying to be more optimistic about it than I am, but realistically I realize nothing's going to be much different. I feel like by October, by the time the wedding is over with and the honeymoon, is around the corner. So it's one of those.
Just postpone it.
Right. Either we'll postpone it or we'll just get a refund and then we'll reschedule a trip next year around the same, for the anniversary. So it'd be like anniversary / honeymoon, which we did not want. We had already booked we booked the room for the honeymoon. I want to say in February. It was before all the COVID stuff really started. So January or February, we were like, well, we need to go ahead and book the room if we wanted then. Because it's during the summer. Back then it was going to be in May. So we booked the room back, I want to say January, February. We'd already planned where we were going. We were picking restaurants out and places we want to see. So now it's turned into, those places aren't even open. Or if they are, they're like drive-through only for restaurants. And, all the entertainment places are either shut down or really restricted. So it's we don't know. It's just like every other piece of the puzzle. It's every day of 2020 has been something different. There's not been a single week where it's been like, well, this week wasn't too bad. It's just been like one layer on top of the other.
Definitely a whole handful of a year. Some people, I deliver packages to. They'll make comments like, oh, we're never going to forget 2020 or, this week.
I can't wait for the New Year's resolutions, and they're like, well, I'm just hoping for a better year than last year.
Yeah.
Like, there's not going to be a worse year, I feel like, as far as everybody's mental state by then. It's like, thank God, I'm not going to miss this year. Yeah. I don't think anybody this year is going to be like, you know what, it was a pretty good year. I'm going to miss 2020.
But the thing is, everybody's like, well, it'll be over at the end of the year.
Yeah.
We don't know for sure.
No, I mean, this could be a current state for a long time. I mean, I hope not. I feel like eventually people will do what people do and turn things around and get better, as a whole. Like, we all, throughout time, we've had bad years and good years, so we always bounce back. So I feel like humans as a race will bounce back. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it'll get better. I'm sure it will, but until then, we just got to keep pushing.
Yeah.
Try and make it to the end of this. However long that is, but we'll make it there.
It's definitely been a grind year for both of us. Like, we've both been, I mean, you coming back and, well, you come back last year technically, but like.
Yeah, actually, what's today, 19th?
Mm-hmm.
I got out a year today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so a year ago today, I got out of the Marine Corps.
I knew it was around this time because we were coming up on, like, me and Gabby were coming up on our 1 year. And we were trying to figure out, like, you spending the couple months here or however long you were going to stay here and trying to live with a roommate but also a fiance, Yeah. So it was a weird time for us. But, I mean, as soon as you come back, that's you getting readjusted. Me going from Save-A-Lot to Clark and then Clark to Pepsi. Like, this year, this time frame, both of us have just been go nonstop. Yeah. I mean, you starting school and... I'll let you tell your stuff you started. I mean,
well, I started working at UPS, and then I started school, and of course then COVID hit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's been a grind year for both of us as far as trying to settle into where we're going to be.
A full schedule, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, another thing, you kind of mentioned it earlier, but like after going to school this past semester, I just tested out for my EMT exam.
Yeah, congratulations.
And I just got my license, so now I just got to apply for my Kentucky State license for it, but I'm almost done with that process.
That's awesome. You got to explain to them the process of the test. That you explained it to me and how you were scared. You thought.
Oh yeah. So the test basically adapts to how you're doing. Like, so if you're answering questions poorly or very well, it'll like give you a certain amount of questions. So the test is anywhere from 70 to 120, 125 questions. And so I'm taking my test and answer question 70, and then it tells me, all right, your exam is completed. So I either did really, really good or really, really bad.
And obviously the gut feeling's telling you, I failed that test.
Yeah. Well, as I was taking the test, I was like, man, I I either don't recognize it or I had to sit there and really think about it. Of course, the test is timed, which I had plenty of time to take it, but still, you're feeling under the clock and you're sitting there, all right, I got to figure this out.
It's one of those things where you felt like if you did 120 questions, or just how dumb is this guy? How long did it take him to take this course? Whereas at 70 questions, you obviously passed the test. Do you get a result back, or do you just get you passed or didn't pass?
So yeah, it's just you passed or you didn't pass.
I was curious.
I got an email and it said, congratulations, you passed, and I was like, oh, thank you.
That's all that matters, I don't care if I miss 15 or 20, as long as you said I passed, I guess. Yeah. So what's the next step for that? So since you did UPS, are you going to pursue the...
Well, we'll see. I mean, I'm liking driving so far. It pays real well, too, compared to EMTs, which don't get paid enough at all.
Right.
But I still might find that as a calling down the road, or, I definitely want to keep the certification up, and
Which that was what we talked about back, I don't know how many podcasts ago. You were like, I either decide to go the more wealthy route or go the route that I feel I would enjoy more. Like back then you were like, do I EMT because I want to enjoy my job, or do I want to go where I make the most money and can support, your after work hobbies? Yeah. So, but it's good that you're enjoying the driving. I mean, it's a big step to switch careers or change jobs, like switching from Clark to Pepsi. You can ask anybody. When I first started Clark, I was gung-ho for Clark. I pushed myself to the extremes to make sure I did as good as possible, and I thought I was going to stay there. And then eventually it's like, why am I fighting so hard for so much less pay against a company that takes care of you, that, wants you to do better as a person and works as a team? So I should have made the switch sooner. But I'm not one of those people that like to jump jobs either. I've had 3 jobs. I've worked for Houchins and Save-A-Lot, and then I've worked for Clark and then Pepsi. I've tried to do my best, and then once I feel like it's not going to go anywhere, then I move on. And I feel like I've upgraded each time, because at Save-A-Lot, I didn't enjoy management. And then going from management to something where I clock in, work, and then clock out. I loved it. Dropped 60 pounds. I felt better. I feel better now. I've gained some of it back, but people still say I'm slimming down from what they remember me as. So I think it's more or less just getting.
Well, I think it's just you slinging drinks, man. Yeah. You getting bulked up.
I think so too. I mean, I went from walking. I never kept up with my steps when I was at Save-A-Lot, but it couldn't have been more than a few thousand on a work day. Even on a truck day, it probably was 2,000 to 3,000, 4,000 steps. That could not have been more than that. Well, at Clark, I was clocking on your phone app, so it's not like the most accurate thing, but it's got to be accurate for something. Because I did drop the weight. I went from that to 15,000 to 25,000 steps a day, depending on the day. And then, at Pepsi, I don't walk as much because we don't do as much as far as moving things. Our workloads are a lot lighter than Clark, because Clark gets an order every day at the stores, whereas Pepsi gets one every other day. So some days are just not as bad. My phone battery's dying. That's what that is. That's not You look kind of worried there for a second.
Well, no. Let's compare steps, because now they got me.
Yeah, I would like to. Yeah, let me see your steps for.
I only got 13,000 today. 13,400.
That's not bad.
That's about 6.7 miles.
I average about 12,000 now at Pepsi. Some days I walk 15,000 to 20,000, but then for the most part I walk 10 to 12.
I think the most I've walked since I started driving is 7 miles in a day, which is about 15,000, 16,000.
And you feel it too. That's why I don't
man.
know how accurate the step counter is on your phone, but it's got to count for something because I can definitely tell when I'm like, it felt like a 15,000 step day. I'm checking, it's like 14,000. It's like, yeah, I was about there. So
yeah, no, I didn't realize how much walking is involved.
Yeah, for a driving position.
Dude, I know.
You can be driving. No, you're going to be walking for UPS is what
Yeah, that's really what it is. Because, I've
been seeing trucks all week, and I'm like, is that him? I've been like eyeballing drivers.
If you're driving down Scottsville, Small House, or Campbell Lane, or any of the subdivisions in that area, I'm probably the one that's driving in there.
Which I've seen some back to back. They're like side by side with each other.
Yeah.
So like they're going to different locations, I guess. But
and some of the routes are split by the road, so I'll do it like on this side and somebody else will do it on that side. Because a lot of it's businesses, so with all the stops you gotta do for multiple businesses in a row or something, so I'll cover those and then somebody else will cover the business on that side. But the reason we walk so much is like some of these roads I can't turn down, because they won't have an outlet and there's no place to turn around at the end. So I just got to park and then walk all the way down the dang road.
You get you some Heelys or something.
Dude, something. Get like an electric skateboard or something.
Just chuck the packages at the side. It's like scan, chuck. Yeah, have you heard that UPS reputation?
Oh yeah, destroying the pack. No, I take as much care as I can.
Have you had any rude customers or
honestly,
people receiving packages, or everybody's pretty?
No, everybody's pretty nice.
I can't think of a time I've ever been mean to the mailman. Like it's.
I get a lot of people on the road, like while I'm driving.
If I get a damaged product, the mailman's not the first one I'm going to blame. It's definitely been damaged in shipment, like shipping from California or something to here. Yeah. That dude picking it out of his truck to here is not the guy that probably damaged it. Yeah. Unless I see him like elbow drop it on the driveway.
Or just chuck it at your front door.
Yeah, and then I'm like, that was his fault. But no, I've never had a bad encounter with those. But shipping wise, I have received pops and things like that with like crinkles or damages. And it's probably been crushed in shipment somewhere. Because pops, they don't put fragile on a lot of them. So, with collector's items, it doesn't have to be pops or anything. Like, if you don't put a fragile sticker on it, and even if you put a sticker on it, doesn't mean the people that are handling it going to care.
Yeah. Well, the thing is some of these packages, too, they come in on, like, tractor trailers, and they're all just stack. So, if somebody didn't pack your stuff right from the shipper-wise, then, it'll crush the cardboard box because not everything is going to be, all the heavy stuff at the bottom and all the light stuff at the top. Sometimes it just doesn't work out like that.
Right.
But we definitely take as much care as we can to, like, prevent that. Don't get me wrong. But, the shipper, and I know this from the military, too. When they taught us to pack ammo, it was like, you better make sure it doesn't rattle around in there,
Yeah.
So I definitely see where where that comes from. The person who's shipping it, not necessarily the UPS, but the people it's coming from, need to pack it accordingly. I don't care if you got to stuff extra bubble wrap in there or like space it with cardboard, something. But because I had a damaged package today, I was delivering to a salon and they were just leaking shampoo out of it, and I was like, well.
It's busted, yeah.
Yeah, so I walked into there and I was like, hey, ma'am, I got this package, it's leaking. I was like, do you want to refuse it? And she was like, yeah. She's like, let me take a picture of it, and, she's going to send it to their distributor or something, so they can fix it. Because, she knew it wasn't our fault.
Right.
But I was finding that stuff on other packages. I had to wipe it off, before I delivered them.
Yeah, I didn't know as far as, I guess, liquids, like shampoos and stuff, they do deliver, but, like, for the most part, I wouldn't think that you would ship a lot of liquids, but...
Yeah, we ship just about anything, to be honest. And,
You think you would have more occurrences like that, though? Like just something busting and like the whole truck just being soaked.
I was thinking today, right? So Amazon, we get a lot of Amazon stuff on our, because Amazon doesn't deliver to this area, right? They do have like their own centers and their own like
you don't see the trucks. Like
they don't deliver in this area, so they ship everything to us, and then we ship it out for them, right? So we get a lot of Amazon boxes. Like, that's mainly what we get. But I was thinking today, I was like, the that is kind of smart of them. They're using us to push their product.
Yeah.
I was like, huh. Something weird here.
Well, they're probably paying UPS a
Mhm.
pretty fair penny to distribute compared to if they paid FedEx or the postal
But there's
service.
probably a contract too,
Yeah,
so
that's
they
what I'm
don't
saying.
pay full price.
Yeah, somebody's making good money deals somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if they were to distribute themselves, they got to pay for trucks, got to pay for employees,
Mm-hmm.
insurances, and all of the, actually, and the location of where they're going to be shipped
Yeah.
from, just like your plant kind of thing. So they're probably saving money going that route.
Yeah. I mean, they do have centers that distribute, but
Which I don't know if you've seen a lot of the news or anything as far as Amazon drivers, but a lot of them have been getting bad reps for like peeing on people's bushes or something, using the bathroom on the property, or like throwing the packages,
Mm-hmm.
or taking something from the property. There's been like several like
Jeez.
camera instances of So as far as their hiring process, I don't know if they're just going through like an online site and they're just bringing people on,
mm-hmm.
but it's not going well. Whereas UPS, when you meet a driver, you meet somebody, they're usually an upstanding person. Like, yeah, a few fall through the cracks,
Mm-hmm.
just like anywhere. But for the most part, I've never had a bad instance with a UPS driver.
Yeah, I know for the most part, our guys that are driving here in Bowling Green, they're pretty squared away.
Mhm.
Our supervisors hold them accountable, and all that stuff. And something they taught us in driver school is like, you're always being watched.
Mhm.
You might not know it, but somebody's probably got a cell phone on you, or
Yeah.
like. I didn't know how many people have those Ring doorbells, you
Yeah.
know, where it's like you press the doorbell and then that camera lights
Mhm.
up. Yeah, a lot of people have that. And it makes me nervous just because I don't like being watched anyway. It's not like I'm doing anything wrong.
And it's not like we have a YouTube channel or anything either.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like being watched.
Yeah, it's not like I'm
but
worried about that necessarily, but it's just like, it is kind of creepy. But yeah, so.
it's safety for them more than anything. If somebody comes and rings on the doorbell, then breaks in, because a
Mhm.
lot of burglars will ring the doorbell
To see if anybody's home.
before they break in.
Mhm.
So if somebody doesn't answer, but they see that camera there light up, they're like, oh, okay, well, I'm moving it.
Yeah. But it also helps out too. So I was delivering a package, I want to say yesterday, and I rang that doorbell. And I was kind of waiting, and I was like, all right, well, I was about to leave, And then the guy, because there's like a speaker on
Oh
it,
my
because what it does is it connects to an app on your phone,
Yeah,
and they can talk to you through it while they're looking at you.
yeah.
And he was like, I'm not home right now. He's like, are you guys gonna have to like return it, or what's gonna happen? And I was like, well, I'll just bring it back tomorrow. He's like, all right, well, I'll be home tomorrow.
So
I'll
it's
be
one of
working."
those you have to sign for?
Yeah.
See, I've never
Not
had,
all of them you have to sign for, but.
which is an option too, isn't it? Online? Or no?
It depends on what you're shipping. You can request to sign for it,
Mhm.
or if it's like medication or something that's like high value, like an iPhone or something.
Gabby's computer we bought for her for editing and whatnot for her YouTube channel. We had to sign for it. So we missed it the first day, and then it's like, well, it's going to be here tomorrow, and it didn't come tomorrow. And so every day after that, we were like, well, we're going to have to like watch for him, because we knew what time our mailman usually got there.
Mhm.
And sure enough, like we had to, if he put on the note, going to be delivering this day, and then must sign, otherwise it'll be picked up at the postal service.
Yeah.
So, but that's the only one we've ever had to sign for, and that was through USPS.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't through UPS or FedEx.
Yeah, we do something similar though. So,
Which it was over 500. So I told her, I was like, it's got to be over a certain amount. So probably over 500. It's like, hey, they need to be there if you're dropping this computer off or phone off or camera or like you said, medication. Like if you imagine just leaving somebody's medication and then some junkie comes up and grabs it and leaves. It's like that person needed the medicine.
That's something and again something they teach us, because we have to be super aware just about everything.
Mhm.
Because it's not like we just deliver to nice little neighborhoods,
Yeah.
We also deliver to places where the neighbor's like peeking out their window waiting for you to drop off a package,
Mhm.
And in that case, we usually will get like a notification saying, hey, you can leave it, but, if somebody steals it, it's a bad thing, So it like warns you.
I couldn't imagine
the
having
risk level
packages
in the area.
delivered like in a high populated area, even in Bowling Green, like a apartment complex or something.
Mhm.
I would be worried about my stuff being picked up or taken.
Well, you want to know something? Krista's tripod that she uses for work
Mm-hmm.
got stolen last night out of her car.
At y'all's apartment?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Well, and that's so crazy. She called me today about it, or I talked to her. She texted me and then I talked to her. But yeah, I mean, she was like, apparently, I mean, maybe she had like left her car unlocked by mistake or something, and
It's scary.
I guess they just went around pulling on people's door handles until one of them opened.
But you guys,
something.
The location you guys are at is kind of sketchy in a way because it's over there by Western.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, there's a potential of being just a dumb college kid. Could have been somebody that, like you said, watched from a window and said, "Hey, she left her car door unlocked. I'm gonna go see what they got."
Or somebody who knows, her vehicle and been kind of watching her.
Mm-hmm.
All right, she lives there. All right, I'll go. Because she does also have that expensive camera that she brings around with her.
And that might have been what they were looking for.
Yeah.
So
that was crazy. And again, that's kind of a learning experience for her. Because she
there's
does
no
always
way
bring that camera in. But
there's no way to really follow a report or anything, though, because at that point...
Well, I mean, she still did, and she's asked around for the different businesses to see if, they had cameras.
Pawn shops or anything?
Yeah, and pawn shops.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're either gonna find it, or, I mean, I guess that's what a business has insurance for,
Yeah. Yeah, because she can't help if somebody was to bust the window open and stole it, then it still would have been.
Yeah.
It's out of her. She didn't steal it,
Mm-hmm.
So the business has to have some kind of property insurance for sure. That's
Yeah.
still crazy. I mean, it's scary to think that somebody was in your car.
Yeah.
Somebody was, I'm sure they didn't just reach in and grab it and then look around.
Oh, no, they did. Yeah, they searched her whole car, which is...
even scarier. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't know if they took anything else unless you remember exactly. I couldn't tell you what's in my car. Like, spot on every day, day to day. If somebody was to get into it one day, it might be different than the other.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's like, did I have this? Or did somebody steal this too? Now
Definitely
I'm running
makes me
like,
nervous, man.
Yeah, it's scary. Or if you had a gun in the car, and left it in the car, if they stole that gun and used it for something, then it turns into a whole other nightmare.
Yeah.
Because then you got cops like, well, do you own this gun? Yeah, it was stolen. Yeah, okay. Well, we're going to need it.
Well, I guess now's a good time to hit that weird fact of the week.
Oh, lay it on me.
All right. So, this one's an easy one, but the TV was invented only 2 years after the invention of sliced bread. So that old saying, was it the coolest thing since sliced bread or something?
It was.
I
think it is. Yeah.
I guess the TV,
Come right after. That's crazy. Sliced bread. What are they? I mean, are they talking a loaf of bread from the?
Well, what I imagine is like the loaf
store.
of bread from like what you get now, from the grocery store. Whereas probably before that, it was just that.
I can imagine some old lady. I'm like, well, I've been slicing bread for 10 or 15 years. I know if I give me it. I guess mass manufactured or mass produced.
Yeah, mass production. I think because that's in the early 1900s. So.
Okay, minor cut in the video. What you guys were hearing was the GoPro cutting out. It's happened a few times, but never on the podcast. So, yeah, welcome to my problem.
Yeah.
But
the big problem.
We're hoping that it fixed it. If it didn't, I've done told William just now, I'll never use a GoPro again. Like, if it's something to do, if you know what's wrong with it, I'd love to hear it. Because it's like it shuts off, even when the battery's not completely 100% dying. I mean, we still have plenty of battery left. I always keep up with it. If I see it blinking.
Was that battery notification for your phone or the...
No, the notification was for my phone. No, okay. I've got less than 20%. I used it today for stuff, but like for filming wise. But it's the battery just shuts off randomly, and then it says repairing file. And then if you take the battery out, obviously the file is not repaired. But if you plug it in, it acted like it repaired the file. So it's like it's trying to recover that footage with its last bit of battery. But it never has. So I've Googled, I've looked online as far as GoPro, and I can't find anybody with the same issue. So it might just be the batteries, it might be the camera. Well, I've got 2 of them, so we're going to try this one and see what happens.
And the thing is like, GoPros are normally reliable.
Yeah. That's why I bought them, because I was like, I need an all-around good camera, because I'm not rich enough to have multiple types of cameras for different reasons. I need one all-around, somewhat decent footage for anything. And that's why I went with the GoPro. And I've never had trouble with them until I started back recording this year. Never had problems with it. Back even when I did the off-day vlogs and stuff, I've never had this issue. So I don't know what's wrong with it. So anyway, a little snippet. So we were about, 30 minutes into it, somewhere there. We just try to pick up where we left off. We left off with the fun fact. And,
we were talking about sliced bread.
Yeah, and then I honestly don't remember after that. So
yeah, I mean, I think,
It's kind of right after that. It's just hard to get back into it because
after dealing with this whole situation, obviously we're a 2-man crew here, so there's nobody behind the scenes like working it while we're
there's no producer.
Yeah,
it's like, well, we'll just keep going and eventually we'll have camera back. No, so either there won't be a video file for the it'd still be uploaded to YouTube, but it might just be an audio file.
Just the audio.
Or in this part so far is doing fine. And like I said, if it doesn't repair the file, I'm definitely going to be looking for a backup secondary camera. I think at this point my phone would be a better option than that. At least it wouldn't corrupt the data.
Right. Well, let's see.
Going forward, I think we should address that we may miss a podcast.
Yeah.
It's been on my mind. I know for sure. It's like our last episode. We are working to live. And by that, we mean we have full-time jobs, and sometimes we just don't get around to have enough time for this. And we don't want to half-ass it to where it's not enjoyable for you or it doesn't seem like we're into it. So, last week we just didn't have time, and both of us agreed that, look, it's not our full-time job, and we hated to not do it for you guys.
Yeah.
But we've got to do what's best for us mentally and physically, so it just didn't work out for us last week. So if there's a weekend where we don't have a video up on Saturday, that is the reason why. I can't think of any other reason. We didn't really do the best job of letting you guys know, other than I streamed, and then like the people that were tuning in, I did mention, we're not doing a podcast this week. We didn't get around to having enough time. And that's the truth. It's not like something else happened, it's just didn't have the time. So we might try to put it up on Instagram or something like that to just kind of a little notification like, hey, we won't be such and such happened. Because there are going to be weeks when I feel like with us recording week to week, something might happen. Something might come up.
And one eventually we might switch to that every other week type thing. If that works better for us in the future, going forward,
right,
it might be a safer bet to do that as well. Just so, one, you guys know, or you guys rather have a more reliable schedule that we can definitely
truly to goodness, within
fulfill,
2 weeks time we can get an hour worth of talking in somewhere, whereas every week is really hit or miss because especially coming up to the wedding and the honeymoon and our job changes. It might be a little difficult for us to get one in that week. Obviously people are going to understand we're busy that week, but we need to let you guys know somehow. So I know it's a weird transition from fun fact to we may not
apologizing
upload.
And now we're stuff we're dealing with. It's very technical, and we're definitely not professionals at this.
Right.
If you couldn't already tell.
Yeah.
But no, I mean we do work to provide a good enough product and try and be reliable and fulfill the schedule that we promised to you guys. I mean,
and William can agree. When I have something like the footage mess up or something, it pisses me off to no end because it's something that I couldn't control. Or if I could, I should have just bought a better camera. All right, and now I'm kicking myself. So now I'm like pondering things in my head. What could I have changed? Should I have been checking more often on? Is it the battery? Is it the camera? And it's just.
Another thing is like it's also like we're using a lot of your equipment and only some of my equipment, and so I'm not familiar with your equipment. Well,
I've never had this problem with the GoPro. Like I said, I don't know if GoPro's watching right now. I need you to call me, which I could call their support number, and they'd probably be able to explain it. But I haven't called GoPro themselves, just like because I don't know if I'll get anywhere.
But then you got to sit on like a hold line for like 15 minutes.
15. It's probably more like an hour for GoPro. I have a feeling that it's just they're not on the spot. Like, oh, we got a problem. We got to answer right now. Yeah. But it's probably more of those email us what your problem is, and we'll let you know. Like troubleshoot it.
Yeah.
So, because one of the cameras is I bought from Amazon. I bought both from Amazon, but I bought one directly from GoPro, and the other one's through like a third market or whatever. But I spent the same amount of money on them, which they are older versions. It's the GoPro Hero 5 Black edition. But like I said, I've never had trouble with them up until now. So maybe it's just because they're getting more use. Maybe they are just wearing out. I don't know. So
I mean, you do use them for just about everything.
Right. I've been looking into getting another backup camera. I use the camera I got for Gabby for her YouTube for the openings now for a face cam because I've run into the issue on my Pokemon openings multiple times, the same issue. So I switched cameras for it. but I still use a GoPro for the card part, and it's worked fine. So I thought maybe it's just angle or like the screen recognition of the face compared to, but with it doing like this, I feel like at any point it could mess up on a card opening where you can't see the cards, and then that video is just lost. There's nobody's gonna see my reaction, but not what I pulled. So I don't know. It's one of those. I'd like to get another camera, but at the same time, I can't really afford one right now with the honeymoon and the wedding. I've got to prioritize what I'm doing. So, which I don't know. We've talked about kind of taking a break from it too, and
Well, it definitely wouldn't be a long break.
No.
But that's what I was also worried about, is like, since we've been talking about a break, that they would assume that it was, this is it, it's happening now.
Right.
When that isn't the case. But,
No.
I mean, we're going to need to take one to kind of get everything in better shape,
Yeah.
And we've been talking about that the past few podcasts. And
better for you guys and better for us. That's the goal, is to overall just better experience for everybody. Which, we're not really doing anything crazy. It was just, we wanted to take a couple weeks where we could really reassess ourselves and get a better schedule going for you guys and us.
Yeah.
So.
Definitely trying to get this whole schedule down has been a chore for us, especially with both of us, again, switching jobs.
It'd be one thing if one of us was switching and we kind of had to readjust.
Well, because it was still working, because, of course, I was working the preload and I was only working, 4 or 5 hours a day.
But I had a set schedule.
Yeah.
So, we knew Friday you were going to work, and then after that, I was going to be here no matter what. Whereas now it's like, what day I'm off on top of it, if it's a good day for you or not. So both of us are struggling to get in unison, and we're in sync. So.
Yeah, definitely just a hassle more than anything.
Yeah, but just bear with us. We have no intentions of quitting or just going dark forever.
Yeah, just blipping out.
Yeah, so it's we're tweaking it, I guess, in the way. So it'll be
It'll
better
come.
in the long run.
Yeah, it'll come.
And we're excited for it too. There's things that we haven't mentioned that we both have talked off camera about, for the series, for the podcast, and not just the podcast, but other things as well.
The bro down.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you've noticed, I haven't done anything for the bro down or anything like that. And it's because I just don't have the time personally on my side. So I don't want to stretch myself thin. And then, things like the GoPro messing up, it just opens more chances of that opportunity. Whereas if I just limit myself to Sunday, Tuesday, and a podcast on Saturday, I have 3 videos a week, and I'll branch out more once I have a better schedule.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, it'll all fall into place. It's just a matter of time and, getting set in our ways again. Because like we've been talking about, I mean, even at the beginning of this podcast, so much is going on and changing and happening, and, I mean...
I never thought we would make this many of them too. I think even now, so both of us realize that it is no longer 3 parts of the story of us. It's turned into, we have to figure out what we're going to talk about week to week, or every other week, or however we decide to finally set it in stone. We've got to keep it going. Where at first it was we could do this or we could do that. Now it's here. There's no more we could do this or we've got to do this or that. So, which the story of us was fun. But it's cool to see it progress. And I feel like in a year from now, all these that we've made, we'll go back and watch the first one and be like, God, do you remember why we did it this way? Or, oh, look how bad the quality of this was. Because we do want to improve it. We want to improve the audio, the visual, the background, our logos and everything like that. Nobody still
guests
has.
On.
Yeah.
I mean, we have big aspirations, we'll say, for this. And it's just a matter
and
of...
not the time for it yet.
Yeah.
So that's what's eating me alive, is we have all these, me moving the Pokemon opening set to a different location and doing this move stuff that we're doing for this. It's I can see it, but it's not in effect yet. It's not there yet. And it's eating me alive as far as just waiting for it. The anticipation is killing me. I'm just super excited to get it going. And it's just... week to week.
Yeah. I mean, it shows with how we're doing this podcast, because, I mean, we were filming these a week ahead, 2 weeks ahead, and now we're literally a week week to week type thing?
We've been day to day almost. There's been days where we filmed it and then we put it up that night. There was a few Saturdays where I was off and Gabby was out of town with her friends or family.
And I was able to make it over here.
Yeah, you would come early that morning.
I always have weekends off,
Mm-hmm.
So
I was like, yeah, we could shoot one early Saturday morning, then I edit it, put it up, and then send you the audio file for you to put up on the podcast side of things. And it's been the same day. It was weird because they're like, oh, you filmed this morning? We're like, yeah. Like, I was always tired those days just because it is stressful. I like to crunch it on the time. If I don't put myself on a schedule, I don't get it done, So they tell me to be at work at 5, I'll be at work at 5.
No.
They tell me I got to put a podcast up by 5 o'clock Saturday, I'm going to have a podcast up by Saturday. When we missed last week, it did annoy me because it was like, I've got to do something. So I did the surprise stream. I streamed for 4 hours Saturday night and then turned around, took a shower, and went to bed and went to work the next morning. So it wasn't like I was busy. I kept myself busy. I'm definitely a busy person. Mm-hmm. Whereas if I don't have anything going on for like a week at a time, I feel miserable. I feel like I'm not getting anything done. Mm-hmm. So I like the crunch a little bit, but not this much. Yeah. I feel like I'm overbearing at this point.
I'll tell you what. I mean, one thing I have noticed about driving is I'm never like looking at the clock, except for, man, it's already this time. Dang, like I mean, I'm going and I can't believe how fast the day goes by now.
Yeah.
I mean, I start my day, I leave the center probably like 8:15, 8:30, and I mean, I'm just go, and it's like, where's the time going? And I'm out there all day, and that's the exact attitude. You're crunching.
It's got to be weird for you too, because you went from being up so early to then starting your day at 7:30.
I will say I am enjoying that. All right, I get a full night's sleep finally.
And I have too. That's my thing too with Pepsi is I don't start until 6 o'clock most mornings. Mm-hmm. Some weeks I've started at 5, depending on if I'm helping truck drivers or if I'm merchandising. I start at 6.
Yeah.
Like Clark, man, it was 4, 5 being there. I was up 3 or 4 in the morning, and those extra few hours helps me tremendously. That 3 to 4 or 4 to 5 sleeping, because I don't get up until an hour before when I'm supposed to be there, because I live close enough.
Yeah.
Now, if they wanted me to start in Franklin or something, and I live here in Bowling Green, I would obviously get up earlier. But for me to get into Bowling Green, it don't take me that long to get ready. Right. I don't have to fix my hair or anything. It's especially now. It's I cut it all off.
Yeah. I put a hat on, so
Mine's finally growing back to a certain length. I'm going to go to the barber for the first time since everything shut down next time, as soon as it gets long enough. Mm-hmm. It's nowhere near long enough. I feel like it's slowed down. Like used to, my hair would grow out really fast. But I mean, you remember, like the last couple podcasts, you'll see a week at a time of it growing. When I first cut it off, it was short. Like I cut it down to hardly nothing just because it was the easiest way for me. And also the mask thing, like I said, I'm so broke out from the mask. They call it mask knee, is what it's called now.
Mask knee.
Yeah, and a lot of people are getting it, so it's not just me. But I usually get pimples anyway. Mm-hmm. So around my beard and everything, that the hairs are ingrown or whatever.
Yeah.
So where it's up around my nose and the sweat's running down and just sitting here around my nose from the mask, it's eating my nose up terribly.
Mine, not as bad because obviously anytime I just go in long enough to put it on, and then as soon as I walk out, I pull it back down.
Do you have like one of those neck gaiters or whatever, or do you actually
either that or like I'll use one of those cloth masks? But it's really easy because I just keep it hooked and I just move it up and down.
My problem is I have such a big head that when I pull it down to my chin, if I'm like not around people or whatever, it pulls my ears down. Mm-hmm. So I've got to find one that's like a longer,
like comfortable.
Yeah. Which I had a neck gaiter, which is like the one you use for fishing or whatever. It burned my neck up though, so I had a bunch of pimples on the back of my neck from the ingrown hairs and stuff where it was pushed down on my neck. Mm-hmm. So I've just not really found one that works perfect for me.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm wearing it like I'm supposed to, or I wear it below my nose a lot of times just because when I breathe and I'm pulling a pallet, my glasses fog up. So you got a guy my size pulling a pallet that is way heavier than this guy to an aisle, and then somebody steps out in front of me, my glasses are fogged up and I can't hardly breathe as is, so it's just not a good combination. So I keep it below my nose so I can at least see, and then I breathe through my mouth or whatever.
Which, I mean, honestly, from what everybody says, right, that's fine because, you're just not supposed to cough on it.
Right.
Like, it's fine if you're...
Because, I mean, if it's not covering my nose, the first thing I'm going to do when I sneeze is in the elbow. It's not like I'm going to just go, oh, well, my nose ain't covered, I'm going to sneeze wherever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as long as your mouth is covered and you're not coughing on somebody. I have noticed myself coughing now with the mask on, though. Mm-hmm. I think it's just because my throat gets dry from, like, breathing through it.
Yeah.
So I'll cough occasionally, and, like, I just know people are looking like, nope, he's got it.
Yeah. That's my worry, because now that I'm outside so much, you know, my allergies are acting up, you know, especially if somebody's like cutting grass and I drive by and, you know, now I got to take allergy medication every morning before I leave for work.
Do they let you guys ride together? I know you've mentioned your supervisor and stuff.
Yeah, so more or less in the wintertime during like peak season, like around Christmas, we can get like driver helpers from like the preload. But other than that, yeah, the supervisors are usually the only ones that ride with us.
See, because they won't let us ride together with the truck driver still. They won't let us ride in the same cab, which is it's funny to me because when the truck driver and the guy that's helping them goes into the coolers, usually are back to back. There's not enough room for both of us to walk side by side in those coolers. So we're within 6 feet anyway. So I don't get the whole, I can't sit in the truck with you, but I can go into the store with you.
Tiny room.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, the truck's got more room than some of the coolers we go in. I mean, next time you go to your gas station, look at the cooler size. Or look at behind those doors with the drinks. There's a little aisle in there where people put all the stuff, and there's not a lot of room. So a guy my size, it does suck. I enjoy the coolers because I'm hot natured.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sweating right now, and all I did was change out the battery for the GoPro. But it's one of those. Now I got 10% on my phone.
Well, it's getting about that time to wrap up.
It is. I'm trying to give us a little bit extra time because I feel like we're right at 45.
Yeah, and we'll probably like
edit it down.
Edit it down a little bit.
Because with that cut, it was kind of a hard transition. Mm-hmm. But hopefully it recovered the file. I apologize if it doesn't. That's on me as far as just making sure the camera works correctly. Yeah. So we will see. Hopefully everything turned out all right because I felt like it was a good podcast up until that point.
Yeah.
And afterwards too, but like that, it's like, like good way to kick us. Like here we are, we finally get time to do it.
And now this happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. We see you, God. Yeah. We see you.
Give me a break. What is that movie off of? Is it
Bruce Almighty?
It's either Bruce Almighty or The Mask when he like...
It's Jim Carrey.
Yeah, it's Jim Carrey either way. Like he definitely has that like really aspect of it. But yeah, that's going to be it. Stay tuned for next week for sure. We'll try to get another one in. If we don't, like I said, we'll try to let you guys know in a better way than just not putting it up.
Sooner and in a more available way. Thank you guys for listening and for hearing us out and understanding our situation.
Because I do feel like we owe it to you guys if we miss or something. Like it's not like we're just...
It is something we want to provide to you, and even if it is just us talking and hanging out, like it's still you're taking the time out of your day to listen and
especially 45 minutes of your day or your week. That's a lot of time when you start thinking of what you can do in 45 minutes to an hour. So we appreciate it.
Yeah. So thank you for listening. We'll push out as much content as we can, when we have time.
Yeah. Lots of things in the motions as far as like once I get in a set schedule. Buddy, I got ideas for days, and I just cannot get the time to do it. But I'm super excited because my days off from work are not days off. Yeah. I have every intentions to use those 2 days off for this because I know I'll be off weekdays. I won't be off weekends, but those 2 weekdays I'm going to stream content for the week after, and then new series that I'm thinking of and things I'd like to get rolling. So I'm super excited for myself for sure, and for us as well. Like some of it does affect both of us, but it's a lot of stuff in motion. I'm excited. Yeah.
So I guess we're done here.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week or the week after that or sometime.
Yeah. Whenever.